Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai Game News. Let's kick things off with a story that has the whole esports world talking, and honestly, we can't blame them. As reported by PC Gamer, a Counter-Strike player going by the name Aeuskine walked up to his opponent Spidergum at the Cactus tournament and, with no warning whatsoever, sucker punched him right there on stage. In front of everyone. At a live event. Yeah, that actually happened. Needless to say, the fallout was swift. Aeuskine has reportedly received a 10-year ban, which is about as career-ending as it gets in competitive esports. But here's where the story gets a little spicy. Spidergum, the guy who got punched, reportedly clapped back with a joke, saying Aeuskine had better aim with his fist than he ever did with the AWP. That's the legendary sniper rifle in Counter-Strike, for the uninitiated. Look, if you're getting one punched in front of a crowd and you can still crack a joke about it, you've already won. It's a wild reminder that esports, just like traditional sports, isn't immune to onstage meltdowns, though this one is definitely in a league of its own. Alright, moving on to a story that is almost too ironic to believe, and it involves one of the most beloved MMOs of all time. PC Gamer is reporting that Jagex had to trigger an emergency rollback for RuneScape after a bug introduced in a recent update went completely off the rails. And what was the bug? It gave players trillions, yes, with AT, trillions of runes. The very resource the game is literally named after. Jagex determined that the damage done to the in-game economy was so severe that they described it as potentially causing, quote, irreparable economic damage if left unchecked. So they had no choice but to roll back the update entirely and reset things before the bug could destroy the game's entire virtual marketplace. Now look, if you're a RuneScape player and you logged in to find your bank account suddenly drowning in runes, only to have it all taken away shortly after, we feel your pain. But also, that's kind of hilarious. The one game where having too many runes is a catastrophe is RuneScape. You truly cannot make this stuff up. Jagex has since been working on a fix, but this one's going to live in the RuneScape history books forever. Now for some genuinely great news for fans of original gaming experiences, and for Capcom, who is clearly on a roll. As GameSpot is reporting, Capcom's brand new original IP, Pragmata, launched on April 17th and crossed 1 million units sold in just 48 hours. That is an incredibly strong debut, especially for a completely fresh franchise in a gaming landscape absolutely dominated by sequels, remasters, and remakes. For those who haven't heard of it yet, Pragmata is a near-future sci-fi action-adventure game that follows a character named Hugh Williams alongside a mysterious robot girl named Diana. It's a big original swing from Capcom, and clearly one that's paying off. Capcom officially announced the sales milestone themselves, and honestly, it's exciting to see. When a new, original game lands with this kind of momentum, it sends a message to the whole industry that players are hungry for new experiences, not just familiar ones. Here's hoping Capcom keeps that energy going. Okay. Let's talk about something that's been stirring up the Mass Effect fan community, because there was a pretty alarming report making the rounds recently. Some outlets claimed that the upcoming Mass Effect TV adaptation was being partially rewritten to appeal to audiences who've never played the games. Basically, that the showrunners were being told to water it down for so-called non-gamers. Understandably, fans were not thrilled. But now, one of the show's writers has spoken up. Both PC Gamer and GameSpot are covering the response from Daniel Casey, the screenwriter known for Fast and Furious 9, who says the story caught him completely off guard. He's been upfront that NDAs prevent him from sharing specifics about the script, but he's made clear that he has never received any directive to rewrite things for a non-gaming audience. According to him, the claims in that report were news to him. Now, NDAs being what they are, we can't know the full picture. But hearing directly from a writer on the project saying he's never heard of such a note is at least somewhat reassuring. The Mass Effect universe has a massive and passionate fanbase, and they'll definitely be watching how this one develops. One of gaming's worst-kept secrets is finally being made official, and Ubisoft themselves are the ones calling it that. Both GameSpot and PC Gamer are reporting that Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag is getting a remake or remaster titled Resynced, and the worldwide reveal showcase is locked in for April 23rd. The event goes live on YouTube at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, for anyone who wants to tune in. Ubisoft had actually teased the project back in March as part of a broader franchise announcement, But now it's officially official, with a date, a name, and a full showcase on the way. And yes, Ubisoft's own promotional material is the one calling it gaming's worst-kept secret, which is a pretty self-aware move. Black Flag is one of the most beloved entries in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. Pirates, naval combat, shanties, the whole deal. So there's a ton of excitement and nostalgia surrounding this reveal. Whether it's a full remake or a more polished remaster is still unclear heading into the showcase, but we'll have all the details very soon. Mark your calendars. Here's a story that's going to affect pretty much every PlayStation user at some point. So heads up. According to a report from Insider Gaming, as covered by GameSpot, Sony Interactive Entertainment has plans to roll out a global age verification system for PlayStation users later this year. The report is based on an email from Sony that reportedly reads, "Verify your age to keep using communication features." Basically, if you want to keep chatting and communicating with other players online, you're going to need to verify your age. A specific date hasn't been confirmed yet, but the language suggests this is coming worldwide, not just in certain regions. This kind of move has been on the horizon for a while. Governments in several countries have been pushing hard for age verification systems on online platforms, especially ones used by younger audiences. Sony appears to be getting ahead of that curve on a global scale. How the verification process will actually work in practice, and how strict it'll be, remains to be seen, but this is definitely something to keep an eye on if you're a PS5 owner. Wrapping things up today with some genuinely exciting news for fans of the lands between. The Elden Ring movie just got a release date and a cast announcement worth talking about. PC Gamer is reporting that the Elden Ring film is officially scheduled to arrive in March 2028. And before you worry about it being some low-budget cash grab adaptation, the cast they've put together is really something. We're talking Nick Offerman, Peter Serafinowicz, and Jonathan Pryce. These are seriously talented actors with incredible range, and their involvement suggests this project is being taken seriously. Now, details on the plot are still pretty scarce, which honestly feels very on-brand for anything connected to From Software and Hidetaka Miyazaki. But knowing the world of Elden Ring, the mysterious, epic, and darkly beautiful tone of the source material, there's a lot of potential here if the filmmakers respect what makes the game so special. 2028 feels far away, but honestly, for a project this big, we'd rather they take their time and get it right. We'll absolutely be keeping tabs on this one as more details emerge. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Genai Game News. If you enjoyed the show, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a story. I'll catch you in the next one later.